Hello, I'm Ed Hess. I'm the author of the new book, Hyperlearning: How to Adapt to the Speed of Change. And I'd like to spend a few minutes with you discussing what is hyperlearning, why is it important, and how does hyperlearning occur. Well, what is hyperlearning? It's the continuous, high-quality learning, unlearning, and relearning. It sounds simple, but it's not, because the science of adult learning is clear. We're suboptimal learners. We do not learn well, and we do not unlearn well, because the way our brain operates is that we seek confirmation of what we already believe, we seek affirmation of our ego, and we seek cohesiveness of our stories of how the world works. All of that inhibits hyperlearning. Why is hyperlearning so important? It's so important because the digital age is going to completely transform how we live and how we work. Several converging technologies are going to create so much new knowledge so quickly, and the technology itself will be able to learn. And we humans will stay relevant in the workplace if we can basically think and emotionally engage in ways that the technology cannot do well. And so hyperlearning is all about how do we humans adapt. And adaptation comes about because of the way you learn. The past will no longer be a reliable predictor of the future. We humans are going to have to continuously update our stories of how the world works, just like we update the software on our devices. Why is it so important? Hyperlearning is the way and the how we adapt to the speed of change. It's how we stay relevant. It's how we avoid automation. And in order to do that, we humans have to excel at being able to do and add value in ways different than the technology. And those are primarily three skills: emotional excellence, thinking excellence, and self-excellence, which is behavioral excellence. Emotional excellence. Technology is not going to be able to emotionally connect and relate and collaborate with others in positive ways like we can, because of our emotional inner being. If we take control of our emotions and manage our emotions and create positive emotions, we have the ability to create caring, trusting relationships with team members that enable high quality, making meaning conversations that can lead to the magic, if you will, of innovation, of creativity, of the discovery of the new, which is collective flow. All of that comes down to emotions. Emotions enable us, if you will, to excel at what makes us humans unique. It allows us to engage at a different level with other human beings than the technology is going to be able to engage, at least for the near future. So emotional excellence is very important. The second excellence is thinking excellence. Being adept at being able to think differently than the technology, with the agility to go back and forth between different levels of thinking. What do I mean by that? Being able to think creatively, imaginatively, innovatively. Being able to engage in higher order critical thinking, where there's not a lot of data, for example. To be able to go into the unknown and to basically be able to manage yourself so you can basically excel at sense making, which enables emergent thinking. So if you take, I'll call it innovative thinking, critical thinking, the higher order, and emergent thinking, those are the three types of thinking which we humans can excel at if we work at it, if we become hyper learners. And it allows us to have a way, a process, to explore and discover and to go into the unknown and to figure it out. And to basically do that through iterative learning, low risk, fast learning, which allows us to continue to adapt to the feedback that we're getting from our environment. All of that requires self-excellence, excelling in managing how you think, how you listen, how you handle emotional stress, how you connect and relate and emotionally engage with other human beings, how you manage your ego and how you manage your fears, which are the two big inhibitors to learning. In the Hyper Learning book, our new Hyper Learning book, it's a how-to book. It's how you do those things. It is very applied. It's how you operationalize. The book operationalized scientific concepts and business concepts and how you operationalize them through your behaviors. Good intent is not enough. It all comes down to behaviors, and behaviors are highly, highly influenced by our emotions. Hyper learning is highly behavioral and highly emotional. That is one of the uniquenesses of the book. It is operation. It basically helps you operationalize concepts that you've read about in the business world. It also introduces you to a new way of being and how to manage yourself to optimize your performance. And in the workplace, that will require a new way of working. And it introduces you to the concept of what will that new way of working be like? What type of work environment and what kind of daily processes and practices can be put into a workplace which enable hyper learning. So the book is a how-to book. How to adopt a hyper learning mindset, how to adopt hyper learning behaviors, and how to adopt daily hyper learning practices which help you behave the way that will basically produce high performance. It's a way to be a high performer. It's a way how to lead high performance teams. It's a way how to build a high performance organization. That is what hyper learning is all about. And it's science-based, and it contains 2 company case stories and 3 stories written by senior executives about their personal journeys to becoming a hyper learner. Hyper learning is how humans will be good at adapting at the pace of change. Hyper learning is how we will stay relevant in the marketplace and stay ahead of the technology so our jobs are not automated. And as, or even more importantly, it's not only how we have meaningful and purposeful work, but how we can live a meaningful life. Thank you for your interest in hyper learning. I hope you enjoy it.